Almost 35 years ago, in May of 1990, a man was put to death in the state of Louisiana for unaliving someone. However, he was only 17 at the time when he committed the crime. Should he have really got the death penalty, or should he have gotten life in prison with no possibility of parole? Let's find out right now. Wicked Wednesday, my Cajun cuties. Yes, it's me, Anne Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carrico, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that you'd like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press on the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. I hope you have a beverage. I hope you have a snuggle partner or a snuggle fur partner. Those are the best, and you are ready to hear a true story with yours truly. And as always, I want to know, are you drinking that water? Are y'all staying hydrated? Are y'all getting those tickers up? Remember, just a quick 20-30 minute walk, especially first thing in the morning, get those endorphins up, and you are going to have an amazing, wonderful day, I promise you. And as always, I want to thank all of you for joining me on this Wicked Wednesday evening as we discuss another true crime story. Today, I'm going to be discussing another highly requested case that comes out of Lafayette, Louisiana. And as y'all all know, I'm from Carrico, Louisiana, which is about 2 or 3 minutes from Lafayette. And I've heard about this case through several people. I've been knowing about this case for a couple of years now, but I never researched the case until now. And this is when I found out several interesting facts about this case. Yes, today we are going to be discussing Dalton Prejean. Dalton Prejean was born December 10th, 1959 in Lafayette, Louisiana. He was the second of 4 children. However, when Dalton was only 2 weeks old, his mother and father gave him up to his aunt and uncle in Houston, Texas. When Dalton was around 11 years old, his birth parents separated, and that is when Dalton's aunt and uncle in Houston told him who his real parents were. Around this time, Dalton started acting out and causing several problems. That is when Dalton's aunt sent him back to Lafayette, Louisiana to live with his mother. Dalton was going to school, however, he was skipping school. His mother had enough. And in March of 1972, Dalton Prejean was committed to the Lafayette Training Institute for truancy at the insist of his mother. I'm going to pause right there. Yes, he was causing problems. He was doing things. He was skipping school. But could you imagine being 11 years old and finding out that your aunt and uncle aren't your true parents? They are not your real parents. And that must have caused tons of confusion for an 11-year-old boy who was just starting to mature. He was just starting to learn himself. And at this point is when his aunt told him that his birth parents were in Lafayette, Louisiana. He was sent back to Lafayette, Louisiana, causing all kinds of trouble. But in my opinion, he was very troubled at this time. And his mother was hoping that when she sent him away, he was going to get the help he needed. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't know what truancy meant. I heard the word several times, but I never truly looked it up. I Googled the word truancy and I found out that it meant staying away from school without good reason. Dalton was only at the Lafayette Institute for 7 months. After 7 months, he was released, and that is when he committed burglary, theft, and false firearms. 2 years later, in March of 1974, when Dalton was only 13 years old, he was committed to the Lafayette Juvenile Youth Authority for delinquents. He was only there 1 month after he ran away and was released on probation to his mother. It's like Dalton had no direction. He was just doing whatever he wanted to do. And a lot of parents, as we all know, and I'm a parent, when a child gets to doing whatever they want, it's like you can't control them. You don't know what to do with them. And maybe that's what was going on with Dalton. His parents had no control over what he was doing. He was just running the streets. But he was committing these crimes at only 13 years old. In June of 1974, when Dalton Prejean was only 14 years old, he unalived someone. Yes, he was only 14 years old at the time when he unalived taxi driver John Ducey. And once again, Dalton Prejean was admitted to the Louisiana Training Institute. He says that he hadn't intended to unalive John Ducey. He says that he and his 3 friends wanted to rob the taxi driver. Dalton says he approached the vehicle and he thought that the taxi driver was reaching for his own firearm, and that is when Dalton says he fired 2 shots at the taxi driver and ran away. Dalton Prejean said when he was running away from the scene, he yelled to someone to call the ambulance because someone had been shot. Dalton Prejean turned himself in and admitted to unaliving someone. A psych evaluation was performed in 1974. Dalton Prejean was found to be intellectually limited and to have poor judgment. He was diagnosed as having borderline mental retardation, and it was questionable if he knew the difference between right and wrong. The psychiatrist considered Dalton to be a definite danger to himself and others. The doctor recommended Dalton stay in custody until he was 21 years old in December of 1980. However, another psychiatrist evaluation in 1976, when Dalton was 15 years old, recommended that Dalton should be released and discharged. On December 10, 1976, on Dalton Prejean's 17th birthday, he was released to the custody of his aunt in Houston. It was said without any probation requirements. So wait, let me get this straight. One psychiatrist says that Dalton should stay in custody until the age of 21, and the other psychiatrist says he should be released when he's 17 years old. Don't y'all think Dalton should have stayed in custody until he was 21 years old, especially if the psychiatrist thought he didn't know the difference between right and wrong and that he was a danger to himself and to others? Don't y'all think that the court system should have taken that psychiatrist's side? Because Dalton Prejean was only 14 years old when he unalived someone. That is a very, very young, tender age for someone to committing that big of a crime. So he should have stayed in custody, in my opinion, and maybe he could have got the help he needed. Because Dalton Prejean, in my opinion, needed help. He needed therapy. He needed to speak to someone. He needed to realize what he was doing. And he maybe needed to be on medication, and maybe he could have gotten some type of help. Who knows? Because just 7 months later, when Dalton Prejean was only 17 years old, he was back in custody. In the early hours of July 2nd, 1977, Dalton Prejean, his brother Joseph Prejean, and their 2 friends were leaving a nightclub in Lafayette, Louisiana. They had all been drinking. Dalton was driving. His brother Joseph was on the side of him. The 2 friends were in the back seat. When all of a sudden, a state trooper signals Dalton to pull over as his tail lights are out. Dalton Prejean and his brother Joseph Prejean tried to switch seats as Dalton did not have a license, or his license was invalid. I don't know what the reason was. State Trooper Donald Cleveland noticed the switch and ordered everyone out of the car. State Trooper Donald Cleveland told the 2 friends to get back into the car. And that is when the state trooper searched Joseph Prejean. Dalton Prejean told his friends he did not like the way the state trooper was doing his brother, reached into the car under the seat and fired 2 shots at state trooper Donald Cleveland, unaliving him. All 4 of the young boys fled the scene. However, they were caught hours later. State trooper Donald Cleveland had a wife, a young daughter, and a brand new infant son. He was only 25 years old at the time. State Trooper Donald Cleveland was unalived over taillights. Over taillights. Dalton Prejean did not have to unalive the state trooper. The state trooper was probably just going to give Dalton a ticket. Who knows? He did not have to do what he did. Now, 2 young children are living without their father. And he was only 25 years old at the time. He had his whole life ahead of him. Dalton was only 17 years old. He had his whole life ahead of him. But no, Dalton Prejean decided to commit another crime at the young age of 17 and was back in custody. Dalton Prejean once again was given psychological tests during the pretrial confinement. Dr. William Hawkins determined that Dalton Prejean functioned at the dull normal level in the verbal area, but in the borderline mental retardation area in the performance area. Dalton had a verbal IQ of 82 and a performance IQ of 72. His full-scale IQ was a 76 with a full-scale mental age of 13 years and 6 months. On May 1st, 1978, a jury found Dalton Prejean guilty and recommended the death penalty. His lawyers appealed his case, citing factors of a low IQ around 71, schizophrenia, and his abandonment as an infant. Dalton Prejean's lawyers wanted to commute his death sentence to life in prison with no possibility of parole. However, the Louisiana governor at the time, Buddy Roemer, rejected the recommendation of the parole board and said, on behalf of 780 state troopers and thousands of police officers who put their life on the line every day, the execution will proceed. The death penalty in Dalton Prejean's case will remain. On May 18, 1990, Dalton Prejean was put to death at Louisiana State Penitentiary at Angola. His final statement: "Nothing is going to be accomplished. I have peace with myself. I'd like to thank all those who supported me all these years. I'd also like to thank my loved ones for being strong. My son will be a better person for not letting something like this bring down his life. Keep strong, keep pushing, keep praying. They said it wasn't for the revenge, but it's hard for me to understand. I hope they are happy, so I forfeit my life. I give my love to all. God bless." While I was researching Dalton Prejean, I found out that while he was in jail, his son, Dalton Prejean Jr., was born. And of course, I wanted to know all about Dalton Prejean Jr. What was he up to? What was he doing now? And did he follow his dad's footsteps, or was he living a normal life? Oh no, y'all. Oh no. Dalton Prejean Jr. has been in jail since 2001 for unaliving his 14-month-old stepson. Dalton Prejean Jr. is at the same prison that his daddy was in years ago. He is still there to this day, serving a 60-year prison sentence. I was shocked. I was floored. I was heartbroken to know that a 14-month-old child lost their life due to Dalton Prejean Jr. How devastating is that? Dalton Prejean Sr. did horrible things outside of the prison. So did his son, Dalton Prejean Jr., for unaliving a child, a baby, just 14 months old. I was hoping that Dalton Prejean Jr. didn't take the same path as his father did, but he did. And I saw a video of Dalton Prejean Jr. crying about his father. And I'm sure that Dalton Prejean Jr. misses his father. And I'm sure he's upset that he's sitting in prison. But you do not unalive anyone. No one has the right to do that. And in my opinion, Dalton Prejean Jr. is exactly where he is if he indeed committed this crime. And he was found guilty in 2001 of unaliving a 14-month-old child. My final thought, I always give y'all my final thought. And my final thought is, I want all of y'all opinions. I want to know if y'all believe that Dalton Prejean Sr. should have gotten the death penalty, or he should have gotten life in prison without the possibility of parole. And I also want to know this right here. Do y'all know if there is therapy in prison? Do y'all know if they allow the prisoners to seek therapy while they're inside? Or do they just throw them in jail and lock the key? I'll give you 3 meals a day. You'll get phone calls, you'll get visitors, and that's it. Don't y'all think they need some kind of therapy? They need to speak to someone to know exactly what happened, why they did these things, why they committed these certain crimes. Something has to be done. Dalton Prejean was only 17 years old when he committed these crimes. But he did, in fact, unalive 2 people at the age of 14 and at the age of 17. That is very young for someone to commit these types of crimes. So you have to wonder, was something wrong? Did he have mental issues? Was something not functioning properly? Because it's not right for a person to unalive someone at such a young age. And one psychiatrist did say that he was not functioning at a normal 17-year-old level. He was functioning at the age of 13 years, 6 months. But you also have to say, I have a 13-year-old. She definitely knows the difference between right and wrong. She knows what's right. She knows what's wrong. She knows what to do. She knows what not to do. So I'm just kind of in the middle here. I'm in the middle of thinking, Dalton Prejean, should he have gotten life? Should he have gotten the death penalty? Because it's such a confusion. He did unalive a state trooper. He was only 25 years old. 25 years old. He did not have to do that. But you also have to say to yourself, Dalton Prejean, in my opinion, was getting away with everything. Did he not know better? Did he not know better? Because you do not unalive anyone. You don't do that. So, in my opinion, should he have gone to jail? Absolutely no question he should have been in jail for doing what he did. He was only 17 years old and he murdered someone over taillights. And it's sad and it's heartbreaking. But I want y'all opinions. Do y'all think Dalton Prejean should have gotten the death penalty or life in prison without the possibility of parole? And I also want to thank all of y'all for watching the video today. I want all of you to like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to press on the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. And as always, stay safe. Always be aware of your surroundings and always know that I'm here for each and every one of y'all. I will see y'all next week with more videos. And once again, thank you. And for you, I am truly grateful. I love each and every one of y'all. Y'all have a good night. Bye.